you're back at it now in the league. You've had a bit of a break. You've got through in the FA Cup now, but this week I imagine, I won't say it's a free week because you've had internationals away, but it must have been good to get some days in on the training ground from what we've discussed before.
Absolutely it was. A free weekend last weekend for the players to recharge the batteries, the ones who were available to us, the ones who were in the building, so that's been good. Some of the players who haven't had as much game time have done some work, but yeah, collectively we all came back together again this morning, obviously with Ollie and Alfie reappearing this morning. But yeah, it's enabled us to work from Monday without the distraction of a game.
And that's a big thing, isn't it? I know we've discussed this at length, but it must be good that you've been able to finally work out who's free, who's available, who's going to be able to train, who isn't, and be able to get some time in on the grass. Because I suppose that's the biggest thing, isn't it? It's actually getting out there and implementing the plan, aside from just having one and struggling to find the time.
Yeah, and we've had to find different solutions to that because our grass time has been really limited. As I've said to you guys before, because of the amount of midweek games we've played, you're almost in a cycle of play the game, recover, play the game, and that's what we've had to do. That's what we've had to try and overcome. So there's other solutions, and we found different ways to try and take our game to the next level. But probably nothing beats being out on the grass.
What do you think that the squad learns from extended time on the grass? Because you've talked about the classroom stuff. Is it much better to get them out there then? Because obviously you can work with them and see whether or not what you're actually asking them to do they're actually capable.
Well, I think in terms of what we're asking them to do, we wouldn't be asking them to do that if I didn't think they could do it in the first place. That's the most important thing. But they're all different. They're all different learners. They're all of different age and different experience, and they all learn in a different way. So it's important that us as staff try and deliver that message in a consistent manner, but also in a variety of ways, so that everyone is picking up on the message.
Cups aside, it's back to the league. We've talked about the league form, but it's important to try and start picking up those points that go with the performances as well now, isn't it? Because the next cup trophy game is a while away, at least for the League Cup. But you've got to pick up some league points, basically, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think we've spoken this morning that I think consistently picking up points is on the back of consistently good performances, and our performances have been okay, but we're in the business of winning. We have to win games of football, and so I think if your performances are consistent and your message is consistent, you're giving the players the best chance of producing on a game day, and if you can produce good levels of performance, it should lead to consistent results. So we've found points difficult to come by in the league, certainly of late, and we now go into a period of time where I think we've got 11 or possibly 12 games before January the 2nd. So it's another hectic period. We're going to need the whole squad. But it's important, as you say, that we've got Shrewsbury away on Saturday. We have to start turning those decent performances into more points.
You've tended to play well, maybe over 45 minutes, an hour. How do you then bridge that gap to being 95 plus minutes now? How do you do that? Because that, I take it, is one of the bigger things, isn't it? Because you've conceded goals when you've not been on top in games. So how do you then go from being good for 45 or an hour to being good for 90 plus?
I think it's important that we're consistent in our message, and that's certainly from me, led by me, in terms of what we want, and the players then become accountable for that. Are they fulfilling their role within the team structure, what I'm asking them to do? And when we've done that and we've played to our strengths, I think our performances have been of a decent level. Once we've come away from that, from a variety of reasons, our performance levels have dipped, and I think looking back over this period of time, because it has been influenced heavily by cup games, I think our performance at Mansfield was very good. We played the majority of the game here against Burton with 10 men and played really well. We played well for 45 minutes at Wrexham with a different team, and then really well for 45 minutes at Lincoln. And me as manager of this team, I have to take a lot of responsibility from the second half at Lincoln. I got some things fundamentally wrong, which I spoke to the players about immediately after that game on the Monday. And I have to look at myself in terms of what am I saying to them. So again, we're all accountable as long as they all know their roles and what I actually want from them, both with and without the ball. That's the way we're looking at it.
Goals are obviously an issue, aren't they? And it's about scoring goals.
Yeah.
I know we've talked again about how you try and do that, but is it as simple as getting one of the centre forwards to just get one, maybe Uche or Ryan or somebody to get one to go in, and then that starts them off, or is it more than that? Is it about the approach play? Is it getting more midfielders and goals from elsewhere while the centre forwards are finding goals hard to come by?
I think it's a variety of things. Would any of our players like a simple goal off the backside? Of course they would. I think when you're not scoring it as a forward, you take any kind of goal. Have they had opportunities? I would suggest they have. They haven't managed to finish them yet. But what I've looked at over this last period, and I'm talking since Mansfield, is that Alfie Devine has started to score goals on a consistent basis and get chances. Gavin Massey's scored and created in his couple of appearances. Tom Sang's assisted. Ben Garrett has been a regular scorer for us. Ethan Chislett assisted at Lincoln. But those guys have to try and do that on a more consistent basis, and that's what we're asking of them. I say we're looking at a variety of things. Are we getting enough men in the box? Yeah, I think we are. Is there enough movement in the box at times? Probably no, there isn't, and that's a message that we're speaking about, certainly to the forward players, and the quality of that last pass, because even though I think we've created chances, we've also missed a number of opportunities, I think, where the last pass has not been good enough, and we've then missed a really, what I would call then a simple chance to play the quality of the last ball, and we've missed it. So we'll keep looking. The players know what their roles is. They say with the amount of games coming up, we're going to need everyone, and as time goes on, the level of competition within the squad should grow in terms of numbers.
Can you give an update on where the numbers are at the minute? Is there any better news on any of the lads who are currently injured at all?
Well, we've lost Josh Thomas to a thigh injury with the Welsh 21, so Josh got sent off, but within the action of the collision with a goalkeeper, he's damaged the thigh, so he's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. We've got players who are getting closer every day. So with the schedule we've got coming up, we need to get players back, because to go with the group of players we've had available has obviously been diminished by injuries, and we need to get players back sooner rather than later, and they're getting closer every day. I would certainly hope by the back end of next week, and probably looking at the cup competitions, that we'll have 3 or 4 back in the squad and hopefully available. Yeah.
And the last thing I wanted to ask you about, a player who's stepped in when some of those injuries have been biting you, but also on his own merit too, is Rhys Walters, and I've seen a lot of people speculate about where he's up to with it in going pro and his contract. For the benefit of that, can you clear up where you're at with Rhys? Is there anything on the table for him, and where are you up to with him?
So in terms of Rhys, obviously he's been with us since pre-season. He's played 6 or 7 games now, and I think his performance levels within the first team and each game he's had have improved, have increased. He's become more confident around the group. He knows what we want of him now in a variety of roles. He's generally played as the 6 for us. He's a young player who is growing. He's a young player who's coming towards the end of his academy contract, and who us as a football club really want to keep at the football club for obvious reasons. Has there been talk of a contract with both Rhys and his agent and his family? Of course there has, and hopefully over the next few days, weeks, that they will come, that will materialise, and we'll have something to say. But obviously, until we do, it's obviously speculation, and people can speculate in a number of ways. But has there been communication between the football club and Rhys?